Hey everyone, it's Erik Thor here, and in today's video we're answering the question, where do you find other INFPs, right? So imagine you took a 16 personalities test and you got INFP as a result, and now you're really interested in learning more about it, and you also really feel like you'd like to meet other people that have the same personality type as you. Now, if you got the INFP result, tough luck. The truth is, INFPs are the rarest personality type. In fact, there's only one INFP in the world, and that's you. So best of luck finding other people. No, actually, there's quite a lot of INFPs out there and so many people out there to meet up with and connect with. And the truth is, there's an INFP in every single person that you meet, which means that every single person you meet has this INFP quality to them at some level. And by being yourself, you're naturally going to draw that out of every single person you meet, right? So there's an effect that INFPs have to be very aware of, and it's the Lighthouse Effect, right? So what is a lighthouse? A lighthouse is this giant tractor beam that really attracts ships to it, right? So what happens if you are a lighthouse as an INFP? What does it mean to be a lighthouse as an INFP? Well, it means to be a guiding light for all other INFPs in the world and for all other people in the world that have INFP qualities or relate to and like and appreciate INFPs, right? So this is what you're looking to embody in yourself, right? As an INFP, it's very important that you learn to gain the courage and boldness to express yourself and who you are in whatever it is that you do. And if you do, you're going to naturally attract people into your life that are just like you. That's something magical that I've experienced in my life, because by being myself, I've attracted a lot of people into my life that are just the way I am. And if I'd hid from myself, if I wouldn't have been able to open up or put myself out there and express myself, I'd never get the chance to meet these people. So the truth is, there's billions and billions of people in the world, and you have a chance to meet and get to know all of these people by learning to find ways to express yourself more in everything that you do. And so what you want to ask yourself is, how can I express myself more at my work, in school, or in my personal life and my hobbies? Where can I go to connect with other people? There's one secret trick that people don't recognize, and that is communities. People don't really recognize that there are communities out there in the world today. Yes, while most things happen online today and there's apps and things like that, the truth is there is still a lot of communities out there, physical places where you can actually meet up with people who share similar interests and hobbies and values as you, right? So where do you find these meetups? One example is on meetup.com. Meetup.com is a perfect website to connect with like-minded people. And so what you want to do is check out meetup.com and look for events and activities that happen. There are book circles, there are cafes, there are art expressions, there are dance environments, There are so many different things you can do through meetup.com. And if you are looking for a chance to express yourself in the world around you somehow, these events are a great place to start. I've attended meetups for creatives, for YouTubers, for internationals and expats living in other countries, for language cafes to learn new languages. And because of that, I've had the chance to connect with and meet a lot of really fascinating people. A lot of INFPs struggle with loneliness and find it hard to find people to connect with and people that they can relate to, right? And a lot of INFPs also experience rejection for who they are, which means it's not always easy to put yourself out there and to express yourself. And a lot of INFPs struggle with shyness, which makes it also very difficult to do these things, right? Because it can be a literal anxiety and there can be a fear of rejection. There can be lots of things that make it harder to connect with people around you, especially if you struggled in school or felt you were bullied or felt that you had difficulties growing up that made it hard for you to connect with other people. A lot of the time when we talk about shyness, I like to say it's not really shyness, it's modesty. So it's very important to remember that. You're not always shy, you're actually modest. And what's the difference here? So shy would be if you just felt afraid of speaking up about things. But modest is often the belief system that's behind shy people. So a lot of the reason why people are shy is because they're modest, right? So a common reason is INFPs are not afraid of speaking out. They're afraid of speaking out in a way that will hurt other people or in a way that will make them intrusive or annoying or, difficult to deal with, right? So INFPs are often more modest than they are shy. And so what you have to think about as an INFP is there's a belief system that's behind why you don't put yourself out there and why you don't talk to people and why it's difficult for you to do these things. And you're going to have to think about why that belief system exists, and you're going to need to think about whether that's something that you think is fair and whether that's something that works for you. So sit down and take some time to journal and write for yourself. Why is it that I find it difficult to talk to other people? What beliefs do I have about myself and about the world that cause me to think that? And start thinking about those things. And then after you've written that, start thinking about how you want to change that story. Like, what would you like to change, and what would you like to question about your own belief system? What are some things that you struggle with and would disagree with in these beliefs? What are some things that you don't really agree with, that you think you've got them wrong over the years, right? Because perhaps there are reasons to question your shyness and your modesty. Perhaps there are reasons to doubt why you are this way and why you act this way. And in this, it's very important to be respectful towards yourself, recognize why you feel that way, and recognize why you've come to have those beliefs, but help yourself to understand why it can be time for a change. And so what can you do when that's the case? What can you do when that happens? Well, the first thing you have to remember is that reaction is not reaction is redirection, right? So when somebody rejects you or says, oh, I'm not interested in that, and no, I don't want to talk to that, they're not rejecting you. What they're doing is they're redirecting you. And so what they're doing is they're showing and saying, yeah, I'm not interested, so I'm telling you up front so that you can go and find other people that might be more interested in you, right? So one thing people often do is they go out and they start meeting people and connecting with others, but they get too attached to the first person they meet. So the first person you start talking to becomes that person that you hope will be the proof, the validation that you're a good person, that you're interesting, that you're a great person, that people like you, and you start attaching too much value to that first person you talk to, right? But the truth is, this first person might not be interested in you at all, and that's completely fine, because you might also not be interested in them too, right? So it's very important to remember that don't let the first person you talk to be the judge of your value and your worth as a person, because that's not how it works. Instead, try to look at and put yourself out there and diversify. So INFPs, diversification is a great strategy that you can use in order to make sure that you really connect with and find like-minded people. And that means actually reaching out to multiple people and actually starting up conversations with others and mingling around a bit and just, seeing if there's anyone there in the room that you think you might vibe with, right? So what you might be looking for here is, are there any really quirky people here? Are there any idealists here? Are there any hippies here? Are there any people here that, seem to be unique or interesting to me? Or is there somebody in my eyes seem to draw to that seems to be dressed in a way that is interesting or curious to me? Or is there anyone out there, that seems to, speak about and say things that I resonate with and that I care about? So use your spider senses to really hook into and notice and see if there's like people there that you feel like, these people might be interesting to talk to. And so yeah, that's how you find friends as an INFP. If you have any other advice in the chat, just leave it down below, and thank you so much for watching.